Hey, hi, and here we are. Happy holidays. It's the holiday season, right? Or is it the holidays season?
Oh boy.
Hi, Roshni. How are you? How are you getting on and getting ready for the holidays?
I'm slow and steady, very intentional, and I don't want to be dazed during the holidays. And I've set that out. There's a line in the sand. There's a chalk around my energy field. I will not I will not get dazed during the holiday because it doesn't serve my immunity very well, and it doesn't serve my mind, body, and spirit very well.
I love it because I think back, I do the same, but how many times I think back in the past, or how many women out there think of all of the demands, all the expectations with the cooking, the baking, the shopping, the cleaning, the entertaining, getting the gifts, wrapping the gifts. All of this stuff, again, no matter what holiday you're celebrating, there's some component of all of this that comes
Yeah.
into play. And how much stress and anxiety and exhaustion can come from that. I
Yes.
remember, past holidays where it was like, oh my gosh, I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders to do
Yeah.
it all and get it all done and get it all done like right, the perfect way. I don't know if
And
you've
you said
experienced
it. Yes, and you said it like when you're in the pursuit of perfection, the way society shows you how your house should look, what the food should look like, who's at your house, how many people are at your house, how much money you want to spend, you are going to come from a place of lack right out of the gate. And if you're going to work from that, you're not going to survive the holiday season. And so our discussion today is going to be fire. Why? Because we want to protect female energy, especially because we tend to shoulder the holiday season for our families because we love them. And whatever your family dynamic looks like, if you are a woman who's entering into the holidays, you might shoulder more of that responsibility. So I think our discussion today is going to give you some parameters and give you some practical ideas and wisdom and a bit of magic with a couple of candy canes and getting you all settled for the holidays so that you don't crawl to the end line. You are going to break through that ribbon at the end of the race and say, I did it. And so Cindy, when you talk about perfection, this is what we both used to do, yes?
oh yeah,
So how has that shifted? What happened? Like, what do you do that has helped you to overcome that?
it's a great question. Well, one of the things that I do now is I really set the intention for what I want my holiday to look like and feel like. Really
Ooh.
important. What do I want it to feel like? So I
Mm,
just take some time to kind of like tune into that. I
yeah.
tune into like, okay, what used to be all my stress triggers, right?
Yes.
What were things
Ooh.
that really stressed me out? And then lay out kind of like an action plan to minimize or mitigate that. So I think the big thing is when you set that intention, right? You're having an increased awareness of what your triggers are, and so that you can really create the holiday experience that you desire. And I think part of it is just getting away from trying to fulfill everybody else's expectation, like we were just talking about that perfection of like what are they expecting? And so tuning, I think, into yourself and saying, no, it's okay for me to like have a vision of what I want to experience as well. And I don't mean that in a
Ooh.
selfish way. I don't mean that in a selfish way. It's just if you're managing most of it, right? If you're the one shouldering it all, as you just said, most women do. Most
Mm,
women shoulder the majority of that. And
yeah.
so why not take the time
Yes.
out to say, okay, what do I want this to look like? I don't decorate as much as I did in the past. Not
Yeah.
every room needs to be full of everything. I pick
Wow.
out a few things now. Um,
Beautiful.
you know, I plan what the meal is going to look like. I actually do some prep work ahead of time. So again, that I'm not doing everything last minute.
Sure.
So I try to set aside time, that I can actually like plan it out and okay, I'm going to do this then, I'm going to do this then, I'm going to do this, and something pops up, it does. And if I don't get to something, guess what? I'm not beating myself up. It's like, okay, all right, I'll go with the flow. So I think that's one of the big
Yes.
things for me anyway, is that setting the intention. What about you, Roshni? What are some of the things that you do?
I I love the themes that you're bringing up. So visualization, planning, how do things feel? Letting things go, letting things be as they are, that you so relinquishing control as to what society thinks it is and just accepting what is in front of you. I know that's hard. For some people, that might be hard. I'm a recovering perfectionist. When my son was born, woo! And so I dropped that when my son was born. You just can't do that when you have kids, especially with someone like myself. But the idea of being practical with your time and your space, and taking things like just putting a few things here and there. And I think everyone knows this: less is more. Less is more, especially in your home, because you have to take it down anyway. I think I take mine down in the spring. I don't know. No, this kind of stays up. I'm like, oh, hey, Merry Christmas. And it's like March 1st.
Oh
I
gosh,
don't
oh
know.
my gosh. You're speaking my language. I love keeping the tree up because just those twinkly lights, right? I
It's like, just
absolutely love
keep
it.
the lights up. Who cares? Like, why not? You just do what. So this brings that up, the point of do what makes you joyful and happy.
Mm,
Do that. If your tree stays up till March the 1st, so be it. If it comes down January the 1st, so be it. There's no rules around your Christmas gatherings. There's no rules. So if you are able to lean into that, you're not only going to have an easier time, you'll also be able to receive and ask for help, right? So once the rules drop, I think you would be able to say yes if someone says, "Hey, I'll bring the fixins and you can make the turkey." Right? And that's a good thing. That's a good thing if a woman
yeah,
can receive that
I
help.
think
Some women don't like that. I know, I get it. They don't get it. But like I told you before we started recording, my sister gave me the ingredients for a holiday meal last year. And I appreciated that. She bought everything. She's very, very astute. She's a great cook. But she says, can you do it this year? I'm like, yeah, sure. And all done. Great. Food was amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I think not only the receiving, but the asking for help. Because for me, again, going through, again, the divorce many years ago, but just to
Mm,
point out, family dynamics can really change over time, right? And so
yes,
you might, this is
for
where, again,
sure.
setting more a different kind of maybe expectation, a realistic expectation. Some of those traditions may go by the wayside. And
Absolutely.
so I think that the thing to do then is, really develop maybe some new traditions and new rituals to do and be kind of like
Yeah,
flexibility with that. And then also ask for the help. If you don't have the partner anymore that maybe you were leaning on, having that permit, giving yourself permission to say, you know what, I do need some help. Maybe I need somebody to help me like hang up lights because I don't have somebody to like hang up lights anymore. So
correct.
things like that. So I think it's both, receiving, being okay to receive, but also I know many strong women don't want to ask. So I mean, I think really leaning into, the expectations not only of others, but of yourself and being able to say, it's okay. I can ask for some help here.
Yes, and that is not only a holiday thing, it can be part of your repertoire of maintaining your balance between masculine and feminine energy, because sometimes I think masculine energy gets amplified because you're running around and you're getting presents, and if you have the means, get your Christmas presents wrapped by somebody. If you don't have that time, I know I actually like wrapping Christmas presents. I think it's really fun. I'm not very good at it. I think I try, but I'm just like, oh, but I do it because it's fun, and I don't have many gifts to give. But if you have like hundreds of gifts, then maybe ask somebody who's really good in, in what is it, the origami to help
Oh,
you
there
to
you go. There you
fold,
go. Love that.
right? Get an origami master, anyone?
There you
So,
go.
just giving yourself a rest, giving yourself permission to seek out if you need to Uber something and you forgot to add something to the meal, Uber that in. One year I ordered pizza as a side instead of like potatoes and all that. They loved it. I was like, oh, pizza, okay. So I had a little
Right?
bit of everything, right? Just a little. And the point is, and you said it, is creating a tradition around with your loved ones aside. And hey, anybody who is going to be happy in your house and they're going to be fed, they're going to be happy. It's always through the stomach, right? So whether you cook, if you don't cook, then Uber it. There's plenty of companies who could potentially, furnish your home with a full cooked meal. All you have to do is warm it up if that's your jam, right? And so I think also it is, you mentioned as well, feeling your way through it. If you're not feeling it, shift what you're doing so that you do feel better about how you're structuring your holidays.
Absolutely.
Feel your way. If you're tired, have a nap, and try
Exactly.
again.
Exactly. Well, the other thing is too, we had talked a little bit about this before, is giving yourself permission to say no.
Yes.
That
Yes.
if you're feeling overwhelmed, like you don't have to go to every party. You don't have to
Nope.
go to every, believe it or not, you don't have to go to every family gathering as well. I know some of us feel like the
Correct.
obligation. If you're not feeling it, just say no. No is a complete sentence. And it's all, and when you do that, right, you're giving yourself permission to maybe give yourself some time and space. Maybe it's to refill your well because there's so much going on. When you do that, it actually gives others permission to say no too. So maybe you need to be the one, in the family to start that ripple effect in a very non-judgmental, understanding way. Just say, no, you know what? I need some time to just recoup. And it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And I think too, like I notice families with children, the running around is amplified in December, school's finishing, the kids are home, you're still trying to prep for however your house and you visualized your house to be. And your immunity gets run down, right? Because you are trying to do everything and the kids need to be entertained and you're having parties to go to. But man, if you're crawling to the end of 2025 on your hands and knees because you're exhausted, then you have to really reconsider how you're boosting your energy through the holiday months, which basically is already started, right? It's getting colder, there's snow, or it's more darker outside. So you have to recalibrate yourself, not at the end of all the holidays, recalibrate yourself during the holidays in the best way.
I love that because I think it is. It's you need to have like those mini breaks, if you will, of really just
Yeah.
filling your own well. Otherwise, you're right, you can get so depleted, and that's
Yes.
not going to serve anybody well
Yes.
at all down the line. So
No.
I think that's a really important thing too. The other thing that it peeks into my mind when you say that is, really trying to then maintain your healthy habits, right? Because it's so easy to fall off of the
Good
wagon,
point.
so to speak, because it's the holidays. Maybe we eat a little
Sure.
bit too much, drink a little bit too
Sure.
much, all of those things. And, some of that, obviously is part and parcel with the holidays. But when we do that, that also can lead to more stress, some fatigue, maybe some anxiety, maybe some insomnia, right? Again, especially if we're like drinking a lot. So if keep some healthy meals and snacks around as much as possible, right? So
Sure.
that,
Yeah.
you can still, you don't have to fall completely off the wagon, so to speak, that you can kind of balance it out. And, I know that again, alcohol can be a big thing around the holidays, but, maybe
Sure.
just really limiting that consumption, because I know that
Yes.
can lead to, insomnia. So again,
Yeah.
just kind of thinking about those things too. What were your healthy habits before the holidays? Maybe keeping that regular, physical activity that you were doing.
Mm.
All of those things that you were doing ahead of time. Like I said, If you fall, and here's the other thing, if you fall completely off the wagon, so be it. Let's not beat ourselves up for it,
So be it.
then get back on track as soon as you possibly can. I'm just planting a few seeds though, recognizing that some of the things that can actually add to, not feeling so good,
Yeah.
it is things like that when we just have a little bit, maybe too much excess in certain things. So,
Yes, I think, and also that you had mentioned before that creating healthy habits, which includes your physical self, but it can also include your mental self. It can include your spiritual self, but also include your money self, right? If you're gonna you work within your means, I think for a lot of people trying to impress
mm,
Christmas, by blowing your personal budget is probably not the greatest thing, especially if you don't have the means. If you have the means, by all means, go ahead. You can just do your thing, but you don't have to blow your budget in order to impress the ones you love.
I love that. And well, especially now. So,
Sure,
you're in Canada, I'm in the US, but the prices here are like out of control right now. I
sure they
mean,
are. Yeah.
everything has gone up so much in the
Yes.
past year,
Yes.
that it's kind of crazy. And so one of the things that I've been looking at is that, what are some of the homemade gifts that you can make that's really
Oh
kind of coming
yeah.
from your heart? There's so many little things that you can do that you don't
I
have to
love
spend a
that.
lot on. So, maybe kind of get creative from that aspect. And,
Yes.
sometimes it doesn't need to even be a purchase gift. For me, I love it when my kid, or the kids, so to speak, my daughter and her husband and the grandbabies just spend time with us. I don't even
Yeah.
need a gift. Let's just do an experience together.
Oh
Maybe let
yeah.
go out sledding together or something,
Sure.
whatever is yeah, again, maybe that's you don't have snow where you're at, but I mean just maybe it's getting together and going out for a brunch together. Just something where you're
Yes.
spending time together. It doesn't necessarily mean that like you said, I don't have to blow my budget. I don't have to get an outlandish gift.
Yes.
And maybe I don't have to buy every single person a gift too. Sometimes we get into that habit of like, well, I bought that person a present last year. They're probably expecting it again this year. Well, no, maybe not. I mean,
Well, I
even
think,
there's
yes,
cards out there. I love the cards or even homemade cards.
those are
Well,
beautiful,
makes these
right?
beautiful homemade cards every single year. They're gorgeous. Where she just
Yes.
talk about origami. She does cuts up, makes these beautiful things puts a little paint on or whatever, and and I love them. So
Wow.
you could even, that's even an idea where you could actually make some homemade stationery or a homemade journal with little things that you're adding into it and give that as a gift.
Oh, that's so beautiful. You're hitting on so many beautiful things. And plus, if you have talents like you and I do in the kitchen, make something, bake a loaf of bread. I've been working with pomegranate, the like
Ooh, yummy.
pomegranate seeds and and I want to make pomegranate white chocolate bark,
Mm.
right?
Oh,
And
I'll
it's
be
just
waiting for
those,
that. Now this is an expectation. I'll
I'm
be
sending it. It'll reach in 2026 sometime. But like
I love
stuff
it.
like that, and it's made with love, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff out there, but not a lot of stuff made with love. So support small businesses, buy them a service rather than a thing.
Hmm.
If you maybe a massage or a manicure pedicure or a I don't however whatever other self-care tip that might be, buy them a small essential oil or buy them an essential oils kit, buy them a session of EFT or Reiki. That's also those are all viable options. And
Absolutely.
cooking and making something with love, finding experiences, as you said. There's beautiful journals, like you said, that are empty, and then you can just get a hot glue gun, super fun, and then make something on your own. We're not trying to add more work to your plate because technically unless your husband or partner, whoever you're connected with. And also, if you're not, if you don't have the time, this is not adding to your plate. It could be, and instead of going shopping,
Hmm.
you are making, right? So you can do an exchange in that way. So we don't we don't want you to feel overwhelmed that you have to go and go shopping and then you have to come home and then you have to make all these journals. No, we don't want to do that. We want to find a happy balance between the both and work from your strengths,
Hmm.
work from the talents you've been given, the means you've been given, and make choices in that way for your loved ones.
I love what you said in terms of like, again, if you and I both love cooking. So again, I
Yeah.
think what you're saying is tune into what makes, again, back to what feels good for you. For
Mm,
me, I had a big garden this year, so I canned beets. I made my own pickles. I made homemade applesauce
delicious.
and tomato sauce. So I'm gonna do a little gift like that, where it's literally
Oh,
just one of each, and you can get these beautiful little like cloth wrappers that you can put on, something simple like that. But I did all of my canning right at the end of the harvest season. So now I've got this ready to
beautiful.
go. So it's going to be really easy to package up and give as a gift. And again, from my heart, from my garden, things that I've done. I love doing that. I
Yes.
gave the example of my sister-in-law doing these beautiful cards. Again, it's all depends on what you want to do. I'll give another
Sure.
example. A couple of years ago, and I love this. I made homemade scrapbook cookbooks. So I took
Beautiful.
I took family recipes.
What
So
a
my
great idea.
mother's recipes of mine, recipes of my daughter, of the sister-in-laws, and then I got pictures of us, and then made this scrapbook with like memories of like, here's the recipe, handwritten ones from my mom. So that
Nice.
we have, it's
Wow.
almost like it's a legacy. It's a legacy book
Sure.
that, could be handed down and you could add to it then with more of whatever your family favorites are. But I mean, everybody loved that. It was such, yeah, did it take a little bit of time? It did, but again,
Sure.
I had the time and I had
Sure.
the energy to do it, and I absolutely loved it, and everybody else did too. So again, I love what you're saying. Lean into it. If you're like, man, I'm stressed to the dang, I'm working like, major job, little kids at home running around. Maybe I'm just going to be doing all my shopping online, and that's okay too.
That's okay too, right? Like um, you can do everything. You just can't do everything all at once, right? And especially we're female entrepreneurs, we are in communities professionally and personally. We have families, we have children, young, old, doesn't matter, but we we can do what we need to do. You just can't, you have to be realistic. That's another thing. Be realistic about where you are at in your holiday journey or at any point in your journey as a woman. Be realistic about where you are at and what you are capable of on that particular day.
I love
On
it.
the
I absolutely love it. I think the big message we're trying to give is part of our whole, what we are trying to present to the world here to women is self-care and self-love, right? This is all,
Yes,
we're giving a whole bunch of tools here today, things to kind of like think about and what can you do to incorporate these? Like what might be one small change that you want to make this holiday season so that
yes.
it is celebration of the holidays and not feeling holidayzed.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And take a nap. I'm just telling you, I'm not much of a napper, but if I feel absolutely during the holidays that my body just kind of going downhill and you just, you know, cuddle yourself, grab a cup of tea, wrap yourself in a big blanket and sit and recoup your energy. You gotta love on yourself. You
Man,
gotta love on yourself.
I am telling you, I couldn't agree more. My whole thing is I always like to soak in a tub. That's my big thing, and I'm
That's
feeling a
a
little
big thing.
overwhelmed. It's like, phew, hop in the tub, soak, and maybe
Yes.
just light a little candle, have a little nice Epsom salts, that are
Ooh,
scented. That's kind of my way of pampering myself. But I think the big thing here, again, what we're trying to give to all of you out there, all of you women out there, is take care of yourself. Really, I mean, it is, and it's okay to take care of yourself. during,
Beautiful.
especially during the holiday season. Obviously, we want it for you all every day of the year, but the holidays amp up those levels of stress, right? The holiday season can really amp it up. And all we want is for your days to be brighter and your heart to feel lighter.
Oh, I love that. And for me, I think I agree that you are, yes, we're super women. Yes, we are capable of doing a lot, but that doesn't mean you have to. You don't have to. You gotta prioritize, right? So that was kind of my end thought. Prioritize what's important to you. Let everything else fall into place. And it always does, 100% all the time, the way it's meant to be. So, but Cindy, thank you for joining me on this holidays discussion. It's always enriching and it's enlightening, and hoping that our listeners also grab a few tidbits and gems through listening to our content.
Absolutely. So with that, I just want to say happy holidays, whatever holiday you're celebrating out there. Have a really happy holiday.
Yes, and you too. And have a happy holiday, everyone. And don't forget to tune in to our YouTube channel at Divine Feminine Wisdom 111 on you, and also on Instagram. And we are at Divine Fem Wisdom on Instagram. And yeah, check us out. Our content's there, and we look forward to joining you during those channels as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Roshni. All right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Peace.